Yes.
And there's a couple of categories that we needed to rate. So if we're looking at Fog Drink, you just saw it just looks like something taken out of a pit somewhere in the middle of the street. It doesn't look good.
It looks like the runoff that goes into a sewer for sure.
Yes, it looks bad, but it actually tastes pretty good. So in terms of contrast, looking bad, tasting good, it scores the highest. That's the best one in regards to contrast.
Yes, and
I'll
uniqueness.
take that, guys.
Do you have a name for yours, by the way?
Cinnamon sewage.
All right, great job.
I actually like that. Then we got drinks that look good and taste good. And in that case, it's God's one.
Yeah,
God's one actually looks like a real proper cocktail with like nice pleasing green things in yellow.
It's nice. It's nice. It looks like when you've got that old kind of ready-made mojito, and you have to urinate into it.
I'm glad my years of bartending built me for this moment.
Yes.
I mean, there's some experience in there for sure. I mean, you knew you did it for some.
I knew I'd be on DreamLeague one day and get to make a cocktail.
Yes, got him.
Oh, and go to the war room. We have work that we're going to do soon.
Yes,
get the hell out of here.
Yes, because he didn't win.
No one has anything to say about Owen's drink. I'm sorry.
It's making me shake. I don't know why. I'm starting to shake. I've got the shakes off that drink.
And then in terms of taste, mine got a lot of good votes.
It was Sheever. Sheever's the winner from taste.
I was the winner from taste, but it doesn't look as amazing as God's, and it is slightly on the sour side. So if you would prefer something on the more sweet side, you would go for Jake's, but it is also a fizzy drink.
Mine's literally, I just poured a Coke in there and put 3 mint leaves in. I'm sorry, guys.
All right. Back to the war room to see the draft for a second series. It's Team Freedom versus SG Esports again, and they ban out the same...
Yeah!
The same heroes once again. We got a Nyx Assassin first pick, and again a respect ban for Clockwork against SG.
They pick Nyx a lot of their games on Freedom, but they run it both in support and offlane. So I'm gonna leave it as support for now, but I think it depends.
To say that,
yeah. I've seen Francis play it a lot. F. Lee playing the support role a lot, and Snaking's been playing more something like a Darkseer along those lines.
King, what a legend.
The King.
The King.
Let's see if SG takes a completely different approach since they just dropped their last 2 series. I think the Sanking is still probably going to be picked up, though.
Yeah, I'm interested in to see how they do. We're a team that isn't running away from them, right? Okay. Last 2 series, we saw so much space made for the Lone Druid, who just went ham. So it looks like Team Freedom's already not valuing that style with a Nyx. He's kind of very active. So there we go. They're going to go with the Sand King and the Witch Doctor, huh? Active supports.
And they saw Witch Doctor earlier on when Thunderbirds picked it against them, so they're like, hey, we can do that too.
Very versatile, Sheever.
Oh, yeah.
10 seconds.
That drink left just a bad feeling in me.
I think my drink as well. I'm kind of feeling it moving through the different organs of my body.
What a great idea to have that at the beginning of our...
We've got 4 games to get through.
All right.
Who needs a bucket?
All right, so Freedom's going to come out with their second pick.
They probably see both supports here, too, so they have... Maybe they want to draft themselves in early another support, since a lot of them are already taken out of the game.
Sure.
If not, I think they go for the Darkseer, because they just love this hero.
Well, what's kind of the big heroes for, CCNC? What's he hot on?
He's been playing the TA, the Tinkers, and stuff like that, yeah.
Is he good on the Invoker?
He plays it, but not like a crazy amount. Oh, this was another hero. So they were picking a lot of Darkseer Jakiro as well a couple weeks ago. They haven't played like a crazy amount. I think it's been like the last 5 days they played versus Complexity every single day.
Oh, really? So that's where
they played
that from, yeah.
Six games in a row versus Cole.
The ultimate challenge.
Hey, they have another match tonight as well, Freedom versus Cole.
Yes, there
we go.
That's our last series of the night.
All right, so Jakiro picked up there. We've been seeing a lot more Jakiro ever since the, actually being able to hit your ability buff there.
Yeah,
so
ever since Starlighter happened and, TNC were picking it the first 2 pretty much all their games. Just a safe hero, and yeah, like you said, it's a support that actually hits buildings, which is pretty much only Jakiro.
Yep. Warlock got banned out. Now, he got some changes as well. Is he any good anymore? I thought those were pretty significant changes.
What, you got the mana nerf?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a small increase. I don't think it's that.
Did you do the math, though? Refresher?
For refresher?
Yeah.
You need, what? You need 1,375 to do refresher ulti. So you need a pretty big chunk of mana pool, but...
So you need some extra items before.
I mean, if
yeah,
you've got boots.
I thing is that usually you don't even see like the Warlocks having the big impact in the games because they have Refresher. Usually they just have the impact because they have this Golem in the mid game. They hit level 20.
Yeah,
They get the
fatal
Golem
bonds.
that drops down Fatal Bonds throughout all stages of the game.
Yeah.
And Shadow Word for sustain is incredibly strong. And then not even to mention Upheaval.
10
So I don't know if the
seconds
nerf was
remaining.
that crazy.
Dire team ban.
I'll hurt my pubs, Fogged. I'll
Did
tell
it?
you that. It will hurt the pubs.
Okay.
All right, anyway. Lifestealer banned out as well. So not too bad of an idea there. They've already got a decent amount of physical stuff and not too many ways to deal with that so
10
far.
seconds
Terrorblade
remaining.
knocked out, though. It's interesting how Terrorblade has kind of fallen off. We
5
could
seconds
barely
remaining.
find a game without a Terrorblade for a while in DreamLeague, and now, you know, he's
Reserve
getting some
time.
time out. He's kind of being ignored a little bit. Any ideas why?
You got hit by nerfs, right? The illusion nerf in 7.05, I think it was, and then in 7.06 he got a movement speed nerf on his Metamorphosis.
Yep.
So he has gotten nerfed a couple times. And that definitely affects him. And new carries start, you know, coming out, and people start learning how to play versus heroes better. You know, he's weak to magic damage, and people are drafting a lot of heavy magic in team fight now in the early drafts.
What?
Ooh, yes,
okay.
This is a
Undying.
very SG esports pick right
Yeah,
here.
this is
These guys
is one of
love-
their lovelies.
Love their Undying.
God
And
damn.
now that looks like it's going to be a Sanking in the offlane, right?
Yes.
And it's going to be the
Yes.
dual sustained supports and the heavy strong laners.
Undying offlane
10
as well.
seconds remaining.
Could they go aggressive
Well,
with
yeah,
that?
I mean, the Undying can go to both of them. I mean, you can even hang around in the mid if they want to try and put some aggression.
It's
Yeah,
usually King
that's a good
RD
matchup.
playing it for them. He farms
Yeah.
really heavily on the hero. But yeah, we'll see him, like, he's going to be running around the whole entire map. Probably the same way that he did in the last two games that we saw.
Juggernaut and
Radiant
Freedom.
Team pick.
So already against Blade Fury is going to be pretty massive. You've already got kind of these heroes that are going to be moving around and your offlane, and normally they're the heroes or the roles that you look to get someone with a lockdown through that magic
10
community, whether it
seconds
be
remaining.
getting an offlaner like an Axe or a Legion, some sort of role. So
5
nice little
seconds
sneak through
remaining.
there with the Juggernaut from.
Hero had high success as well in Manila, right? I think it was like
He-
70-something% win
He
rate.
had an 83% win rate.
83%.
83% win rate at Manila.
Don't sleep.
SG, I'm interested if they're going to go all in on this early game. Undying, of course, fantastic in the early and pretty good in the mid. And yeah, they're getting
Yeah,
just
so
a lot
far.
of burst and run at you. That's cool. It can work, but I feel like they're revealing that hand a little early. What's stopping Freedom from just getting some like mega late game and holding out?
You're too greedy, I guess you get punished and
Yeah.
lose the lane side. But what they've, I think, been smart about is
10
picking
seconds
heroes that are pretty
remaining.
strong defensively. Like Jug, you've got Healing Ward, Blade Fury. It's not the
5
easiest hero to go
seconds
on. He's not going to get destroyed like a Terrorblade or a Greedy carry might. So I think for
Reserve
Freedom, you're just
time.
looking at finding ways to make sure you don't get overrun too badly in the laning stage.
Did Freedom play the Magnus? Could they do a Jug Mag thing, or is that not very?
Doesn't I think they can, but I think that they would probably stick to their comfort and just do Darkseer. Looks really good for them here.
I mean, a Baden's still there. Is that something that we could see?
Baden's a possibility that they do.
Yeah, some kind of defensive heroes would be fantastic. This maybe, don't call me crazy, but maybe even an Omni Knight might be good here. Jug Omni, huh?
Have seen them play it. Not, I don't think in their last 6 games, I want to say, but I did see them play it like a week and a half ago or so.
Ooh, better
Oh,
than
Baden.
dead.
Look at the bat on the
Dire
offlane.
team
I
ban.
completely forgot this hero actually was a thing, even though it was extremely dominant at Manila, and I think this hero has gotten a lot better since the recent patches.
Did he receive any nerfs in the 7.06C?
No.
No. So Bat's still where he is.
10 seconds remaining.
Well, I guess in terms of
5
save,
seconds
I mean, SG,
remaining.
they've got the ult on the Ursa, but other than that,
Reserve
whatever else gets
time.
going on, it is protected from that lasso. Being that mid. I mean, with SG as well, is this definitely going to be an Ursa safe lane, or do they have the potential with their players to put in mid? They see a favourable matchup and turn it on its head against Freedom.
I mean, they can. I think it's more than likely a safe lane thing, though. I think this Batrider pick also signifies that they want to keep the supports down there. Like, they're probably going to even move, like, the Nyx down there with the Batrider. I'll still leave it in the safe lane, but
Okay.
I think they're going to put a lot of pressure on the safe lane to make sure that those supports can't, like, rotate around too much. Batrider's just, he's heavy lane dominator late. And out the Lina for
Dire
themselves.
team ban.
I like that Lena ban. That would give him a lot of burst damage and a lot of ways to shut down those supports and blow them up. So smart there. And she transitions pretty good in the late game too, you know. New sniper hitting towers from far away. So nice job there with that ban. Let's see. Who do you not want against you on Team Freedom?
Probably depends what mid they're going for. They'll ban something that's going to counter the mid that they have in mind.
I mean, could Freedom have also been setting up for, as you mentioned, one of the heroes who plays TA in the mid in this game? They've banned out DK and Terrorblade, 2 heroes that, you know, high physical resistance with the armor. Very hard for TA to burst down. They pick themselves the Jakiro, so it can't be picked against them and puts SG off picking a TA. They've banned a Slark, someone else with the Dark Path, very good at getting through the refraction. And also, yeah, with that Slark ban as well. They themselves maybe considering that maybe the Ursa could be moved mid. Attempt to outdo them. Ember Spirit, of course, another very strong mid laner, still in the pool and could be very nice. Go for a puck, though.
Okay. I was thinking it might have actually been Templar Assassin as well. I was actually grabbing it early on.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I like the Templar because if she got ahead, they'd have no chance. Puck, he's going to have a rough game. There's a lot of stuns. He's got the ability to kite, but if they ever get him, he is done. He is blowed up, that little fairy dragon.
I mean, SG themselves, we saw how well Adriano played in game 1 with the Ember. Surely he could just pick up the Ember here, or is the Puck too much of an issue in the lane?
It's a hard matchup in the lane. But Ember can go resort to jungle, but yeah, I mean, CCNC is a very strong mid laner at his mechanics, and Puck can really hurt an Ember Spirit, like super on the laning phase.
And SG got like the whole early game lineup going on, so they don't want a mid that holds them back. Which is something that Ember could be doing if he does need some extra time in the jungle to catch up after laning stage.
Ember as well versus Nyx Assassin for SG is just really hard. You're just setting yourself up.
Get the SF. I mean, another hero that could be susceptible to ganks, but a hero that can certainly back off, look to the jungle, and recover from a tough laning phase, which he may receive with Freedom's heroes. Yeah, a lot of threats for the SF this year.
Alrighty then, gentlemen. Get to the casting booth. Gods. What do you reckon?
I like the way Freedom's lanes look. Like the fact that some of their cores are going to match up well, like the Puck versus the SF. Batrider should have a strong lane. And while I feel SG Esports have like good aggressive supports, the Undying, the Witch Doctor, they're going to be like pulled to too many lanes that they can't be in. But I think the cores are going to have bad matchups. So I'm going to go with Team Freedom for game 1.
Oh, yeah, I hear what you're saying. I like all that too, but I feel like I don't know if the Nyx is going to be able to do too much in the early game. So I don't think they have too much to stop them from rolling over them. So this might be crazy, but I'm going to go with this, with the Brazil boys.
SG. I'm leaning towards Team Freedom because I feel like even though SG can be very aggressive, I don't think they can be aggressive enough to end early enough. I think they're going to give Team Freedom a chance to come back. We're going to find out if that is the case, though. It is over to ODPixel and Fog for game number 1.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the casting desk for the second series of the day here on the NA division of DreamLeague. I'm ODPixel, I'm here with Fog. We're ready to go again. SG, of course, their second series of the day, this time having to deal with the boys from Team Freedom. We've seen the drafts, we've just seen the lineups. Obviously, Shadow Fiend there to finish it off for SG. What do we think, Gods? Gods? Fogged?
I'm Gods? Wow, Gods. I'm so tall. I feel that's a big compliment, thanks.
Well, what are we thinking, Fogged?
I like the concept of like they're trying to go for with the Shadow Fiend. They're trying to get something to like well-round their whole lineup. It's like, and they need like an objective taker. I think that they realized that from the last games that they had like these lane dominant. They had this like very good laning phase and everything coming out, but they couldn't just like hit buildings and gain anything big out of it. And that's the Shadow Fiend bringing it out. Also with the backup of a Witch Doctor and Undying, you have like that big heavy frontliner that can get healed up by Soul Rip and Buddha Restoration and all that, and gives them good team fight as well. However, looking at Freedom's lineup, it's a very cookie-cutter Freedom draft actually. They really like picking the Puck for CCNC in the mid lane, and also I think that Manila kind of made the Puck stand out even more, I feel. Like, EG was first to picking this game over and over.
Oh, we saw Sumail have some amazing games on the Puck.
Yeah, he was going absolutely berserk. And I love the Batrider pick.
Yep.
But, yeah, we'll see. The thing is that... Oh, we have a pause, actually. But Yeah, the thing is that this puck can really hurt Shadow Fiend super hard in the laning phase. Shadow Fiend has 46, 49 base damage, and puck has 70 in lane. So it's definitely a hard, and also we'll give it to SG. They are playing on a bit of a ping disadvantage.
For sure.
So that can make it a lot more difficult in the laning phase. And I think that Boris and Francis F. Lee in this offlane, the Nixon Batrider duo, we used to see people run like the Sand King Batrider duo. I think it was Newbie.
Okay.
Who used to run it a lot. It puts a lot of pressure onto the safe lane. You have a lot of kill potential if they get out of position well.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, all things said and done though, regarding the lag, we did see in the first series that SG can still do incredibly well. So Adriano, in the mid lane pretty much both times. And a lot of it was down to the play in terms of rotations and the hero matchup, but they can still give us a very, very strong laning performance. Definitely been kind of the shot calling being made in the middle game that's costed them.
Yeah, wait, I was sitting there, I'm like, wait a minute. Snaking's on this team, I'm 100% sure, and I saw Boris. So they're playing with the stand-in.
Well, they're Boris, yeah.
Right? Or am I...
No, I think you're right. Is that what we're saying?
The battle begins.
You never know with the teams now if they're moving stuff around, but I mean, imagine he is standing in.
Yeah, I thought that Snaking was playing on this team. Oh, I'm pretty sure it is. I think it is a stand-in coming up from Mr. Boris himself. But yeah, he plays a similar thing. He plays that offlane and puts pressure on. He's a very active offlaner as well, just like Snaking is. So.
What was the other teams we've seen, Boris?
He played with Wanted with PPD.
That was right. Yeah, it was.
And I think he signed up. I think he actually signed up for the qualifiers with another team very recently. So. F. Lee,
yeah, getting some fair bit of harassment down onto C4T, bringing them down to half. And yeah, as you said, these lanes, what you expected. SG, they are going to run at the moment. King RD on this top lane. In fact, taking a lot of damage there with that first decay and the harassment.
Yeah, rule of thumb versus Undying. You can't get double decayed. That's how you lose your laning phase very hard. So they have to watch their positioning standing up versus, especially because he didn't get the bounty rune at the start on the Juggernaut, so he doesn't get his poor man's shield right away. So he can't really trade right clicks with the Sanking or the Undying at all. And you have to watch out in this lane. You have to just wait. You have to wait until they try to make some mistakes because Sanking with Caustic pressures Juggernaut really hard. And then with an Undying, you can't really go for spin kill potential. Bottom lane, stacks are starting to build up. HFN.
Cask will be enough to hold them back, and in fact, well, HFN tries to go back in, but he's got a lot of stacks on him. And with the Firefly chasing him down, 6 stacks isn't going to be quite enough for the kill. It will bring him down low, and in fact, we've got the Witch Dogs there looking for a bit of a turnaround as they're both very low there on the side of Team Freedom coming in for that play. But yeah, some very dangerous side lanes for both sides. Definitely killing potential for both off lane, these duos that they're running.
I think they saw that this Ursa started with boots, so they're trying to burn his regen as fast as possible, and they're doing so.
It's
down to one tango. Yeah.
To see how aggressive F. Lee's ready to get. We're all ready to move past the tower. They've got the Firefly back up. Oh, the creeps have trapped him.
Looks pretty dead.
He's got one more cast, but they'll keep themselves split. There is a creep there to make the bounces, but it's not going to save him. He's down. F. Lee turns around, holds back HFN with the stun. We'll start to get the stacks up. Have they got the damage? They haven't. They've got to back up, yeah, with the tower punching into the bat, but nonetheless, they get themselves that first kill. Top lane, though, how we see you is starting to get some CS. But, of course, Tavo having the better time with the Sand King. Nice for him. Mid lane matchup at the moment. 17 for 6 on CCNC. 14 for 1, so...
Jarno is doing quite well. I mean, 14-1 to 18-6. He hasn't gotten any help at all. That's definitely very good for him. Straight up to 15 souls.
Yeah, and we know this Shadow Fiend can really catch up if he falls behind or get ahead with some good stacks in the jungle if they do get created for him. See if he backs up and does start to stack up any of those side camps.
Yawar getting a lot of pressure on himself top. If he gets hit by a soul rip, he actually can get brought down. He's trying to go for it.
Oh, and he's got it. King RD. I mean, it really feels SG. Yeah. King RD has been the man of the moment in the laning stage, and Adriano has been the man of the moment in the late game. Both of these players have shown us some very strong highlights in the game so far. And yeah, this Undying, it's very scary for Yawar and the Juggernaut. I mean, what does he do against it? If this Jug falls behind early at the start, it's, well, actually on the verge of potentially getting a kill there onto Tavo. The Soul Rip and the Burrow strikes out enough to save him. King RD's just manning up.
That is the power. Every time it's the
Look at
double
it.
decays. You have
Yeah.
to. You can't let yourself get double decayed
And
like
now
this.
Yawar's in a bad position. The heal up there is from Tavo, and Yawar's got no Blade Fury. And they may just take him down again. Again, just King RD just manning up against the Jug, takes the kill, will go down in response. But they are absolutely messing up the start that Yawar wants to have. I mean, this is something that the SG were unable to tackle in the first game, being almost scared of Resolution's bear in the laning stage. But here in this next series, they say, you want to play a Juggernaut? They've got this hero matchup that I'm pretty sure that they knew that was going to have this incredible strength against this Jug in the laning stage, and it's working out hugely so far.
Bottom lane HFN. Flame break back. They do have a TP coming out from the Undying, so they're going to stop their aggression.
They need some good cast bounces here. Can they get them? It's only going to bounce the once, so F-Lee will be able to get away. Tombstone will get removed immediately by Boris to the back.
And the taunts coming out from King RD.
And
Yeah, this guy's always just moving around for this team though. Always
he is. King RD's
doing
movements
everything.
are great.
And you don't really play versus Undying so much either, right? Like people aren't really used to like how strong the hero can actually be in the laning phase. He is one of the best still, especially in the hands of a player who knows exactly what he's doing with it.
And as the game goes, Undying's got some pretty fantastic talents as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, he does. He got buffed a couple times. That
15
90
HP regen isn't now at...
I think 90 GPM is probably better, but you can argue in a way.
It's a hard one.
It's a hard one, yeah. It's one of those that's kind of tough.
9 GPM it's like the not too crappy GPM.
I know this guy.
15
This
HP
guy's
regen.
greedy, dude. This guy likes to
go.
get his Midas. He likes to get his farm on his Undying. I think we're gonna see him get the gold talent once he gets to that.
Bottom lane,
But we'll see.
Boris, again, getting in close and personal, getting the stacks up on the Napalm and takes himself a kill onto the Witch Doctor.
Well, they've got Arcane Boots already on Nyx Assassin too.
Ah.
So this bottom lane is actually coming. It's like the trade-off, right? The top lane is getting
both
heavily
lanes,
shut
yeah.
down. The safe lanes are both getting heavily pressured, while the mid lane is just like a farm contention lane. And Adriano's doing incredibly well versus CCNC's Puck.
That's pretty incredible, though, the prevalence of Nyx Assassin in these recent patches.
Yeah.
111. Yeah, picked up band.
Coil's online. Boris making the rotation toward mid as well.
See if they
The
can
cask
punish
is
this.
there,
The
though.
cast bounces are great as well. Bouncing between the two of them. CCNC. Orbs out. Try and chase it. One more raise brings him down low. The zombie. Is it enough to finish him off? It's not. Brings him down.
He's running in though. He gets the decay.
King RD.
He's actually just running at them.
He knows the limits of his hero and he knows the potential of this Undying. And yeah, he's having a lovely time. Once again, King RD loves the laning stage. And loves just having this ability to move around wherever he sees fit. And almost certainly 90% of the time he gets a kill out of it.
Tavo, top lane is a Sand King, found a nice big stack. We'll look at bottom though as they chase the Ursa.
Well, see if they can save him. They've got to be careful. There's a Wish Doctor around with a potential cast. They are looking to chase. They pop the stick charges. The rotations come through here. A couple of raises bringing F-Lee down low. One more stun holds him back, but the right click from the Wish Doctor brings him down. HFN continuing to be chased will finally fall. They do end up getting the kill that they came for. And yeah, as you said, Tavo spots the stack, takes the stack. He's now 1k towards the Blink Dagger, 7 minutes in.
It was a triple stacked small camp, but I mean that's why his last hits went so high up, but his net worth is still showing it. He's level 7 now as well. He's got that max stun. He went for the Tranquil Soul Ring build. He's on his way toward that Blink Dagger. And yes, Yawar is heavily suffering.
He is certainly suffering. About the same net worth as the Nyx Assassin. The pressure that's been put on his lane. I mean, again, it does seem like a bit of a repeat of what Game 1 looked like against Thunderbirds. So, yeah, SG very good at getting pretty decent control in this early laning stage. But can they transition it into a strong mid game? Bottom lane, HFN again being dove upon. Does get taken down. They'll come in with the return Burrow Strike. Trapping Boris up by the tower. Will bring him out and down. Now Tavo looking to chase down Stanking as well. Just on his own. That Burrow Strike again here. Could certainly look to try and go for this, but the stick charges are there on Stanking. Is it enough to save him? Well, with this smoke rotation, he is not getting home alive, this dragon. Quick raise from Adriano. Takes Stanking down. 7-5.
They're making moves everywhere though. They're responding well with their TPs. Adriano's he's trying to like secure his safe lane a bit. He moved out of the mid lane twice now already to try to help his teammates out quite a bit.
And again, it's
Nice.
not just your but it's both the safe laners. Both position ones are not having a great start. It's really up to the rest of the teams to make sure that they can get themselves back into the game on those position ones.
Yeah, the nice thing that you were saying though, like this just looks a lot from like the SG from the earlier games, but this time around they have that Shadow Fiend. They have that big driving force to be able to kind of force the objectives. HFN mid, dropping kind of low. He's got the stick charges though. F-Lee coming with the rotation with the stun.
Oh. Don't quite have the damage though, and they know that they can't go in onto him with that enrage available. They haven't got the burst to bring him down. Get out here. Tavo is going to have a very good timing on this Blink Dagger. 1,700 gold towards it.
How's Batrider doing? Batrider's going for the drum first.
Okay.
So, I mean, SG is going to have a very big window to be able to push for those early objectives and go for those like ganks with the Sand King Blink Dagger, with the Dragonlance being finished up very early on the Shadow Fiend soon. And it's not really the easiest for Team Freedom to actually take those ganks. They need to get a couple more levels up. They need the Vendetta online for the Nyx Assassin to get the information for all that, but Puck is having a good time in the meantime. He has a Veil finished up already.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how this Juggernaut and this Ursa can come into play. I mean, I feel like as well an Ursa needs fewer items to do as much as a Jug can do with fewer items. You know, if you can get that blink as such, the Ursa still has great damage potential. You've also got that chance to take a Roshan with the hero. So it feels like even though both position ones have suffered, you're a little more comfortable if you're the Ursa in this sort of a game.
HFN looks like he's kind of trying to bait bottom. There's a rotation coming in. Will he get the Enrage off? He does not get it off, but they might be able to get some cleanup kills.
Well, the cast comes through, bounces the once towards the Batrider, chasing him down through the tree line. Tombstones drop. They know where he's heading. The zombies chasing him down, and we'll get him. RD celebrates the fact that he picks up the kill there with the zombie, finishing him off.
He's saving gold as well. I think he's going for a Midas on Undying, first item.
You said he was great. Did he go for the GPM time?
He's only level 6.
He's only level 6.
It's only 10 minutes.
Only 10 minutes. Let's calm down. He's having a great game. Not that great of a game. Not level 10 at 10 minutes on the Undying.
Yeah, but I mean, he's level 6 already. The Tavo has Blink Dagger as well, so they can respond to aggression and also make their own aggressive moves.
CCNC is going to go for the quick solo kill, or at least attempt for it. Actually missing the Waning Rift there, and he's not going to get this on his own. He needs backup, and it's actually not going to get there in time. Tavo turns around with the burst strike. The cast bouncing between the two of them. They're stuck in place. CCNC, with the smallest John of his life, should still be okay with the backup of his team. But a bit of a whiff there from CCNC ends up costing F-Lee's life, as he just missed the burst onto the Witch Doctor, and time for the turnaround is there.
Yeah. Trying to make an aggressive play, but like you said, he missed a couple of his spells and they don't get the kill on the Witch Doctor. They expend Coil, and it's a big window coming out for SG. More time for them to just get a bigger advantage, and yeah, he puts the Midas into his quick buy, picks up the recipe, and as expected, King RD always going for that Midas on the Undying. He likes to be able to, I think it's a great choice because that hero, he's a lane dominator, but then he starts to really heavily fall off, and this is a way for him not to fall off.
Yeah, for sure. And we're saying at the moment, Coleman is in. He's still able to do so much with brown boots and a stick. Yeah. He doesn't need those other items at this stage.
He's got the Midas too. He's actually got it super early. I thought he might actually go for the arcane boots to like move around, but no, he's going for the full greed, which I definitely like.
HFN, King for that Vlad's pickup on top of the phase. Still, him and Yawar continuing on that struggle to recover from special laning stage from hell, thanks to both of the duo off lanes that each side ran against them.
F-Lee watching the rotation coming out from SG.
Yeah,
SG's trying to claim an objective
though. For Team Freedom. And in fact, they may be able to turn it into a kill as they look towards the Witch Doctor. Be a little careful. Not going to have quite enough. The soul rip from King RT. Just in time to save the Witch Doctor. HFN finds Stan King. With the rotation of the full side of SG, they'll bring down the Jakiro. Should have a good chance of getting this tower. They actually want to come down bottom. Tavo's already down here. Oh, yeah, okay, he's going to hold off the TP. Did go for the TP, cancels it in the end. As he chooses to stick around with the team on this top lane to ensure that they get this tier 1 tower.
Nice trade coming out from CCNC at least. He saw that they were kind of rotating toward top instead of trying to make the defensive mood and help his team out. He wants to make a trade. So he gets a tower bottom, and the Brazilians are able to claim their tower top.
Yeah, and thanks to this, CCNC's very close to the blink. Okay. That's an easy TP cancel. F-Lee was there. They're maybe hoping that they could try and set something up, but a Nyx Assassin and a Jakiro against this amount of heroes from SG was certainly not going to be the play that they wanted to go for, unless they can catch someone on their own. Two of them here, Bat and Nyx Assassin, looking for action.
I'm pretty concerned right now for Team Freedom. Like you mentioned, Yawar on the Juggernaut. Of course, he suffered in the laning phase, but he's not really recovering well at all.
I mean, how do you recover? It's such a slow recovery as well for a Juggernaut. Not really the best hero to go to the jungle. I mean, yes, you've got sustain, but you don't really have quick clear ability of the camps.
His team just has to make space for him, and he has to either come in for cleanup or just farm. And at least, oh, this could be it. They're looking for Adriano here.
That's a big kill if they can get it, but Tavo's there with the backup. Comes in with the Burrow Strike. Soul Rip onto the Shadow Fiend, trying to get him back, but the Dream Core's there. Out onto 2. Jump forward with the Omni Slash. Adriano's out down. Blade Fury from Yawar as he's trying to chase down Tavo. Doesn't quite have the speed. The zombies indeed slowing him down. They'll drop the Death Ward, kill the Healing Ward, and bring down Yawar in return. 1 for 1. Jump in for more here. Seeing if they can get anything else. The Shrine is starting to heal them up, though. It's a very hard fight for them to take. The bounce coming out from the cast, but they've already lost one. King R tries for the TP out. He's not going to make it. They'll come back in with the Epicenter, bringing them down low. Will find the Batrider because of it, but they're almost certainly going to pay with the SK's life as well. The lone survivor being the Witch Doctor, but they'll chase him down. They have the control to do so, trying to land the slow. They won't quite get it. King Art and, well, the Cat will be able to TP out there. Back to safety, but still, SG losing 4. Just over-aggressive. They're trying to fight around that Shrine. Ends up hurting them pretty damn hard there.
Trying to fight around the Shrine after your Shadow Fiend died. I think they should have just cut their losses after the SF died. After they killed Yawar on the Juggernaut, I think that was like already a pretty decent... It wasn't a great trade, but it was better than this kind of thing happening. Tracing to the Shrine, they just get heavy TP reinforcements coming out, and they don't have their big farmer. You know, the Shadow Fiend is the one with the big net worth as well as the Sanking. But Sanking, Epicenter is decent, but you need to have that big, heavy physical damage core as well there. But at least now, they make their move into the Roche pit, so after all that hectic stuff happens, they're able to at least get this finished up.
Yeah, really good strength for their lineup.
So as long as they can defend...
Yeah.
As long as they can defend the Shadow Fiend, that's going to be the big thing. There's a lot of magical bursts coming up from Team Freedom, so I think we're just going to see a straight up BKB get picked up by Shadow Fiend, and then they can start playing more like a unit.
I mean, that really is the thing. Where's the physical damage from Team Freedom? It's not there. A Jug, you know, Yawar has a long way to go before he's a threat. So if you can get BKBs, if you can win the game before this Jug is able to climb his way back in, you know, that's certainly a big window for SG to try and take advantage of.
Yeah.
If they can get these BKBs out.
Trying to take down this mid tower, trying to at least keep even on the objective taking, because, you know, the Team Freedom has the Jakiro, which lets them claim towers a bit easier. They actually get a sentry down onto F. Lee.
Put the dust out as well. So as soon as he jumps forward, burst them down. Be enough to slow down the push though. SG claim the tower, more money into the pocket of Adriano.
This is good though. I mean, at least a bit. Yawar is at least recovering now on this. He knew what he needed to do. He's like, I don't assist in defending towers at all. That's not his job. He should be split pushing. And he recognizes that.
He's got to climb his way back up still. On par of that. Of the
top lane.
Jumping is there with the Epicenter, looking to go onto the bat. We'll try and knock them back with the Flame Break. I think it may be enough with the Anna Shadows heal. Keeping him alive. And indeed, Boris keeps himself safe. King R tries to TP out there. Creep, it's got the vision of him, and they know they can go for the easy kill with the quick Dream Coil from CCNC.
Tavo's in trouble as well. You're going to grab him too, it looks like. The stun off the mark.
Nice puff as well. Missed. He may just live with those stick charges. Boris strikes away, and he's going to get out of there for the time being. Oh, okay, walks into the ultimate, though. Oh, he's falling like Tavo. He's going to have Blink in a second. He's got the Shrine as well. He's fine. Tavo, he's going to survive, and now with the TP coming in, you've got to get yourself out. Boris Strike will miss, so F. Lee will escape, and at the end of the day, just a symphony of missed spells from both sides there.
Exactly. There's some
gets the kill.
Slight misspells, but they definitely got what they wanted. You know, Batrider ended up living during that Epicenter gank, and they were able to turn it and get at least the Undying. It's a big kill. You know, he's still worth quite a lot. And Yawar during all this is able to recover at least a bit. He's got the Yasha finished up, level 12, so he's got the level 2 Omni Slash, so he can actually become you know, a little bit more physical damage that they definitely are lacking on Team Freedom.
How's King RD doing? What's he done after the Midas anyway?
It looks like he's going for a pipe. Like we said, full magic damage
full
on Team
magic,
Freedom.
yeah.
Makes sense.
Absolute sense, yeah.
And he goes for the 90 GPM.
You were bang on.
Yeah, I mean, that's this guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. The health regen, it looks good.
I mean, plus 15 is that's a sizable amount. Oh, that sentry. That's going to set him up a kill, potentially, Efley. Oh, no, he just walked out. Surely he doesn't get out. He might just get out. With that stun there, holding back the SF, making sure no more raises come through. Efley survives. And from a situation that looked pretty lethal for him, heading under that sentry, but SG just didn't have the control of damage to bring him out.
Extra damage from, or extra movement speed and HP from the drums that he has picked up on the Nyx Assassin. So rather going for that like Blink or Midas first, he goes for more stat build up and more of a team-oriented kind of item.
Yeah, double drums on the side.
Yeah.
Interesting. Freedom. But certainly the game where, 19 minutes in, 23 kills, a lot of action.
I think they want to try to match the aggression that's coming out from SG.
Talking about aggression, this dive here behind the tier 1 going to play with the Burrow Strike. Death Ward down. Will find the kill onto Boris, and the SG secure the space to take this tier 1. And I like this as well, being very proactive with this Aegis on HFN, making sure that they get objectives. Yawar continuing to find the space elsewhere on the map, split pushing at the moment down the middle lane.
They have a huge surge of strength right now on SG.
Yeah,
I believe the BKB is coming out in the courier
can.
too, so Shadow Fiend's going to have BKB in a second. Like you said, HFN went for drums as well as having the Aegis, so they're just trying to keep that early aggression going on. But looks like as the escape is coming out...
TP cancelled, and they will burst that Aegis. RSG in a position to try and help save this Ursa.
They should leave him.
Will be surrounded. They're going to try and go back in with the epicenter. They'll come through straight away, but into the Blade Fury, losing a lot. Yawar comes in at the right time with the rotation. Omni Slash is there to chop them down. You said maybe SG's best interest there was to disengage. Up top, the Bat Rider playing around with the SF will cliff him. BKB is popped. He's scared about the Firefly bringing him down, and Adriano stuck on the cliff. Can they finish him off at all? He's got no way of getting down. No TP on him at the moment. And yeah, the Bat's just going to continue to start to stack up the napalm. He's Requiring up. He's trying to warn them, trying to keep them away, but the Jakura comes around. Adriano's stuck, and he's going to go down it. The ice path's out, and he pops.
That was great play there by Boris.
Good old Boris, yeah, with the Bat.
Actually picked up Blink Dagger, right away cliffs him and forces a BKB usage, and even gets the kill anyway. That was... Yep. I mean, I think that they should have ditched the Ursa earlier. Like their Shadow Fiend had already ported out, and that's like their big. I mean, that's their head honcho basically right now. So they should be playing around the Shadow Fiend in pretty much all of their engagements until the Ursa at least has Blink Dagger finished up. And this, yeah, like you said, Yawar was able to come in, get some cleanup kills too. He's
catching back up.
He's catching up. Number 3 on net worth.
Certainly could be a big worry for SG. They can't keep HFN so on par with the Jug. If this game goes on and the Jug gets big, could be scary. They do have the SF to stand toe-to-toe with him, and as we can see, Adriano is still at the top of the net worth. So he, for the most part, has been having a very strong performance once again on the Shadow Fiend.
As long as they play around him, you know,
they've got to keep him alive.
That's like normally what you want to be doing anyway when you have a Shadow Fiend on your team. Your whole composition kind of relies on the Shadow Fiend. And they already have like good sustain as well. You know, they have the max soul rip, they have the max voodoo restoration coming out from the Witch Doctor as well. So they have the tools to at least like sit behind him properly. They just need to wait for Ursa to get a Blink Dagger so that he can get more involved in these engagements.
Yeah, I guess that's what they're waiting on. Because I just feel like, you know, if you're SG, you want to be using the most of this early BKB. You want to be pushing down these lanes and abusing the fact that you have pretty much got this core that at this stage of the game, as long as he gets the BKB off, he's pretty invincible in these fights.
Yeah, it's only just the Omni Slash pretty much, and I guess like Vendetta hit, but yeah, Vendetta is not going to really be a physical damage aspect walking into a team fight like that. It's going to be giving more so information with the Vendettas.
See what they can do. I said, definitely looks to be that they just want HFN to get that Blink Dagger done before they go again. Tavo has got the gem queued up.
Yeah, I think the gem's good, because that lets him actually group up and like go for those towers rather than have to just keep worrying about sentries for this Nyx Assassin.
CPR has the bots done as well, so I think that's going to be something that SG have to be a little wary of. You know, SG with this lineup that are going to want to group up and go and push. There is going to be a puck constantly pushing out the side lanes. Those boots are prepared to split and back up. They're already now looking to smoke up straight away.
Do they have the blink? Okay,
They've
I was going to say
they've
got the
he's
picking up from the blink.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, that's definitely the thing they're waiting for. They almost have the pipe as well finished up on the Undying. But this is definitely their time to go when they have the blink dagger on Ursa.
Who are you looking to blink on and delete straight away out of these fights, do you feel? You're looking to get the stun on CCNC and then rip him to pieces before he can jaunt out?
I mean, anybody really. It's like literally any targets.
Yeah.
Just him having to run into fights is very awkward as an Ursa versus a Puck, Nyx Assassin, Batrider lineup. He can get easily locked down and kited. But if he's the one who starts the engagement, blinking in with a Sanking at the same time, that's the way they want to start the fights, because then Undying gets to put down his tombstone, Shadowfiend gets to walk in, and then the attention is forced away from Adriano.
Yeah, for sure. Here we have it. Tier 2 push. SG. Continuing to go. Yawar. Look for the split push on the top lane. They will get the trade by looks of it.
They're wrapping behind, though. We see Adriano porting all the way in the back as well
straight
as
out.
the Ursa.
TP's out straight away. Realizes the threat's incoming. And he is gone. Bottom lane. They get the tier 2. They do hold on to that tier 2 on the top lane. Tier 2 in the mid's gone though for SG Esports. It's in deny range.
Good split. Good split push coming out from Freedom. As soon as they see like those 5 heroes from SG gathering up to push one lane, they make the decision to just split push and catch up, go toward the later stage of the game.
It's really nice as well to see how well both Yawar and HFN have recovered from those. Since they are definitely back in a position that they'll be happy with. CCNC he's been doing a pretty good job though of pushing those lanes out, and we can see how much farm he's been getting as well on this part. Still top of the net worth.
Yeah.
18, he's certainly been performing.
It's like impossible to kill him, right? Like they have to pretty much get a nice like Sanking stun with like an Ursa on top at the same exact time, and then it's just very unlikely for them to be able to bring down this puck. Looks like they're going for an engagement though. Freedom all set up on the high ground here.
They look poised to do something pretty major if they can get a jump. Who are they going to get the lead in on? The fortification comes out. SG themselves keeping HFN on the sidelines, looking for the counter initiation. A man up and take the tower. Looks like Freedom don't want to jump on them on this tier 2 push. SG will get away with that.
They can't fight SG like on top of all their heroes. They want to be able to pull one of their heroes and move the location of the fight with the coil as well. Because if the Batrider just jumps in, he's probably going to just get Sanking stunned instantly, and then the fight is very hard. They can't really fight into Tombstone very well, especially with Pipe and all the different amounts of sustain that comes out from SG's lineup.
This is a potentially easy rotation. They can do it quick, but they are going to look to try and fight. There's a DD on the Ursa. They've got to get in the pit, and they will do straight away with the lasso, dragging him out. But the Burrow Strike's there from Tavo. In return, CCNC will burst down the Witch Doctor on the back lines, drops down the 3-man coil. BKB's up on the Shadowfiend, looking to maintain control around the pit, and they will allow HFN to get back in. Now, can he finish this off? The Ice Path holding him down. Epicenter comes out from the SK as they look towards F. Lee, but they've done it. SG find the Roshan, pick the Aegis up on the bear, but Blade Fury from Yawar forcing the Tavo Sanking down to the low ground as he Burrow Strikes away, but he gets chased down. They pop the Aegis. Can they get anything more out of this Team Freedom? Look to try and kite up the Ursa. Buyback will be there from Tavo, realizing his team needs him here. HFN in big trouble, will be burst healed back up. HFN back up, looking to chase Yawar out of this, but he gets forced away, saved just in time. Still continue to chase this HFN, blinks up to the high ground, trying to get a lockdown onto Yawar, but the Shrine heals enough. Yawar survives for the time being. Burrow Strike and Sandstorm, will it be enough? No, Yawar, Blade Furies, continues to back out, will look for the TP out, he's going to make it. The paralyzing cast bounce is not enough to enable the Shadow Fiend to finish off a kill. Back up to the north, they'll find the Batrider, trying to put them away with a flame break. It's not enough as HFN mans up on the Ursa, takes down the Bat.
The kiting.
Fight, they do manage to come out the stronger out of it, SG. They force Team Freedom back. They'll look to take a tier 2. Did cost them the buyback on the SK. And did lose the Aegis.
Yeah, they don't have great catch on the side of SG. The Witch Doctor got bursted instantly in the fight. And then Sanking also died kind of relatively early in the fight. And then after that, their catch is very bad in the fights in comparison to Team Freedom. They just kind of danced around them in circles for quite a while.
Oh.
And they have so many different like Force Staves and different tools of like saving heroes. 2 Eul Scepters, Force Staves as well. coming out from the side of Team Freedom, and they literally just danced around the Undying. They just sort of doing circles around him.
The fact that they kept Yawar alive as long as he did. All those force plays. Keeping that jug safe. Away from Ursa. Can't buy him, but this game certainly not the saddest really for SG in comparison to the other two. This is looking pretty good still for SG.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's very close. It's just about how they take the fights. They don't have a great amount of lockdown. And here we go. Looks like another engagement's going to be happening soon.
The vision is straight up onto Athlete.
This gem pickup from Tavo. It's paying dividends.
Nice, and 16 for 16. 2 minutes in. Lane, CCNC, continue with the split push. We'll look for the TP out and make it. Don't quite find him in time there. Tavo goes for the blind burrow strike. Yeah, just bring out. Yeah, looks like they may try and get some tinker wards out. So they can have vision of CCNC when he blocks out on the puck to the pushes. Nice.
Butterfly about to be finished up for Adriano, so he's going to be pretty damn hard to bring down, as well as the Ursa will be when he gets that. Okay, he did have an Aghanim's queued up, but he actually went for the Desolator, trying to bring down people in one burst. Like we kind of saw, like they don't have a crazy amount of lockdown to do anything, so he wants to be able to kill them in that quick succession. So I think he'll probably go for, I think he still needs like an Aghanim's or a BKB after this Desolator, but it's going for a bit of a different kind of build.
I guess what we're relying on the pipe really, and the soul rip from RD to be enough to save him.
Yeah.
And at least buy him time to get that enrage out after the lockdown from Team Freedom. And the Deso's certainly going to help with these pushes. SG trying to achieve at the stage. They still have this lineup with that stronghold on this game. You can take one team fight. Butterfly on the SF, Deso on the Ursa. They can certainly do the damage to the towers. Racks.
If they can initiate on Boris, if they can initiate on the Batrider for SG Esports, that's massive for them. That pretty much takes out a lot of Team Freedom's team fight and control. They have eyes on him.
They've got that power strike. In they go. We'll get a chance to force out.
Without the Ursa, they don't have that burst kind of potential and that one stun. And that's what they definitely need. Lacking disable, lacking catch. Butterfly, as you mentioned, finished up on the Shadow Fiend, coming out now.
Ags complete on CCNC's, but deal with that BKB. Adriano holding this SF in position on the back lines of the fight. Pretty major. In response to that Butterfly, you are for the MKB, and he's pretty close to it. Yep. About a javelin shot.
Saw the Butterfly getting picked up from the Shadow Fiend. He had Diffusal queued up, but then he's like, I need a bigger item to actually stay relevant in this game. And he's the, like we mentioned a couple times now, he is the pretty much only physical damage coming out from Team Freedom. So he has to be that big, heavy core. Lee scouting out HFN here in the top lane. Rotations coming out as well.
Out from a area.
SG is all collapsing now.
There's a lot of backup for this Ursa. They've got to be careful how they look to take this fight, Team Freedom. Lee will initiate, but at the same time, the burrow strike's there. Onto 2. Car scout as well. The bounces won't occur. We'll be able to back up. From CZNC to stop the death ward.
Everyone's just walking away from each other.
I mean, it was both teams already using their initial initiation.
Yeah, and just like there's 2 force staffs, 2 Yules. Everybody's like super speedy as well. But now this is where SG is able to just stand at the tower, and with the Butterfly finished up with the Solar Crest and Pipe and all these different healing mechanisms, they're able to just bring this one down quite quickly.
And they can certainly go for more, I feel. This SF is in such a good place to just high ground front line.
I think you're still at risk though. Like your side lanes are getting heavily pushed in. Roche should be spawning within the next couple minutes. I think they have to just kind of unfortunately deal with it and, you know, get back up and farm this game out. They do have pretty strong late game on the side of SG in comparison to Team Freedom. Team Freedom is really relying on Yawar to get super farmed. Puck, of course, gets that level 25 pretty soon, and he's going to be able to get that surge of gold. But here we go, top lane, Lee, the gem from Tavo.
Bringing in the damage, they're bringing in the boys, SG. Lee, can he kite this one up? He's looking to try and juke it around the tree line. And he may just have made it there with that movement.
Tavo spots him again.
He gets eyes again.
Carapace up again, though.
Lee,
he's got force staff.
They are going to chase him. He's hiding. He's TPing. And he's only just gone and made it out of there. Very nice done there from Mr. Lee. Will out Duke G. Base.
This looks so funny, just people walking away from each other like this. Boris now Stanking bought Boris a gem, so they're going to be able to take out some of the wards that are coming out from SG. I believe Basher finished up on Ursa, and then he's going to go back for a bit, the Aghanims. So yeah, he's recognizing like we have no control, we have no lockdown in these teamfights. It's pretty much everything is on poor Tavo to set up all of these engagements and catch. Just too much on one person.
I'll be interested to see. Yeah, okay, there we go. There's my answer. I was going to say if Yuwa holds back on the MKB to hold on to buyback gold, but I think you realize, if they are going to win the fights, he needs that MKB now. If he doesn't get it, buyback is not going to mean anything. Buying back without that true strike. So he goes all in. The money's gone. The money's spent. The MKB is picked up. Yeah,
I don't think he needs to. Like, saving buyback is usually when you're like high ground defending or something like that. Here, you want to be able to contest for the Roshans, contest fights outside of the base. So him getting that is, I would agree with that, getting that this time. Adriano finishes up his Reaver, so he's going to be going for a Satanic, and he hits level 22. So that's a big damage spike, having that +2 damage per soul.
Yeah, it's definitely the issue that because of the start that Yuwa had, this SF, he's constantly nearly a one major item ahead of the Jug, which is making life hard for
Yuwa is invis, but Tavo's coming in with Gem. Are they going to be able to get vision? They see Yuwa in a second here. They got a glimpse of him for a moment. They did see him.
Edge. They've got him there with the Burrow Strike straight up. One bash will do it. They get it. And he did go all in on that purchase. There are no outer towers. I'll see how much SG can get done off the back of this.
He's playing very aggressively by himself with that Invis rune. And he knows that they have a gem too.
He knows they've got a gem.
That was a bit risky for him. Trying to go maybe for like a solo kill on like some support with an Omni Slash or something, but that is still a very risky play to go for something like that.
They have got really good siege potential with how big SF is. Team Freedom due to stop this. Tavo setting up in the tree line. I think they did spot him out, jumping over there. And yeah, they know it. They'll stun him up. Actually jump in from HFN, trying to go on the back. Doesn't get the bash. They're just creating space for the rest of SG to hit in onto the tower. CCNC jumps in, but they'll come in with the counter Epicenter straight onto the Batrider. Boris is out and down. Stanking gets taken down in a couple of hits. The instant buyback there from the both of them as they'll look to try and do something about this siege from SG. But SG, they'll take the racks. There'll be the jump in from Boris, catching out HFN, dragging him back. But the Burrow Strike in return is there from Tavo, making sure that HFN can get out with the retreat. The Voodoo Restoration looks to be enough for him. And may have to leave Tavo behind as F-Lee comes forward with the Spike Carapace. The Requiem's out and down. They've lost the Sand King, but SG, they get the racks. Okay, Witch Doctor's not going to be as lucky. Try for the TP out, but the Yules is there to cancel him. Can they get the cores out? That's the question. It's the Adriano chased down. Omni Slash comes through with the MKB. It's a lot of damage, and it's enough. They will punish SG. They get the racks. Was it worth it, though?
2 buybacks from Team Freedom.
You're happy if you're SG?
I think you're pretty happy, unless you know that this Roche is spawning right now, which it's about to, and then that'll probably be Team Freedom getting that one. However, Ursa's still alive, Undying's still alive. Yeah, I don't think they can still contest anyway. I think they should still be pretty decently happy. I mean, they're playing versus a single core, quote-unquote single core Juggernaut. Of course, there's a Puck who is getting close and close to that 25, and he gets extremely powerful with that magic damage, but they forced buybacks, and they took Raxes anyway. I think they're quite happy with that one.
Roche Bar looks good. I mean, they said they do have some alive. They're in the mid lane at the moment. Are they making a move over? They're not heading this way as of yet.
Do you see King RD's items, by the way?
What's he got down?
He's going to have a Hex in a second on this Undying.
Wow. I
think they need it, and they need more catch, more disable. Definitely the right pickup coming out.
Oh, and they're going to go. They get there in time.
They're trying to.
They've still got
1,000 HP, 600.
Seconds. They'll walk into the pit. No, instantly with the lasso. Do they get it? No, Yuwa will manage to finish it off. Grabs the Aegis. Dreamcore dropped onto 2. Freedom, can they take this fight? HFN manning up to Yuwa. Will pop the Aegis immediately. Ben still sticking around. Stun from F-Lee comes down to 2. The Soul Rip there to buy HFN. Time to try and survive. He doesn't get the chance to enrage though. Will buy back. Wants to get himself back into the fight here. Can he do it? King RD with the decays, keeping himself alive. Voodoo Restoration doing absolute wonders. Stanking surviving there thanks to the uphill mischance. Will get himself back up to safety. F-Lee down on the low ground, but the sentry's dropped by SG. Jumping from the back lines, HFN trying to get himself back and involved. Will be held back by the stun. Oh, is he going to get taken down again, though? He bought back for this HFN, and he will fall. The Omni Slash comes out from Yawar, set up with the Yules onto the Shadow Fiend. They'll look to chase him down on the back lines. They're focusing King RD. They'll let Yawar chase this one down. Now Boris, CCNC join the siege as well. They'll bring the Shadow Fiend down. He's out for 70 seconds. King RD with the jukes, but the blink forwards there from F. Lee. King RD will taunt himself to the grave as they will slowly but surely chase him down. Can he juke his way out of this? I'd love to see it, but I don't think it's going to happen. The Yule setup into the Ice Path is there. They'll bring down King RD as well. SG throwing everything they had into that fight around the Roshan pit, but it ends up hurting them bad as they are down and out, giving the opportunity for Freedom to move in onto the tier 3. They'll take down the Tombstone, forcing back the Undying. Can they get the Rex out of this as well? There's no Shadow Fiend or Ursa for 30 seconds. That does look to be long enough to allow Yawar and the team to clean up the mid-melee racks. As SG just going a little too ham there. Can they do anything here? The Dream calls out onto the SK. Paralyzing cast, the bounces. They're doing pretty good at holding some of them back. The jump forward there from F. Lee in response, looking to find the stun onto Tavo, but Tavo able to burrow strike out.
They don't want to overstay their bounce. SF and Ursa respawning.
Yeah. Play it safe now. Take what you could get and make sure not to throw anything back in favor of SG. As yeah, that fight massively hurting SG there around the pit.
Look at this net worth graph.
Oh, it's going to look messy. Can we get that up on the screen? And yeah, bam, straight down. It's always going to look like that if your core buys back. You know, HFN, good intentions, trying to help turn the fight around, but it was a high risk, high reward, and it didn't end up paying off for SG.
It's a hard place for him to fight, and we see the same thing kind of happening every time. They're getting kited around so hard as soon as the BKB wears off from the Shadow Fiend. He's unable to do anything. He also was still dead when that whole engagement was happening. They were fighting 3v5 for quite a long time. TP started coming in from SG, but Team Freedom just had the numbers on them. They had the Aegis and Cheese as well. They expended, I think both of them, right? I think so. Yes, they did use both the Aegis and the Cheese. So I think maybe SG, in hindsight, would kind of look at that one and be like, is the Aegis and Cheese that much of a problem for us? So they expended so much to try to defend it and still lost. It's like, you have to kind of look back at those and try to make decisions, but they did it to go for it. And they are paying for it heavily with that massive, almost 15,000 gold swing.
Head up potential RD. Got, they're actually up towards the top. So it looks like Team Freedom interested in the action here. Straight away. Going for a bit of a tickle there, Fleet.
Puck's got level 25. He's got the Dagon 5 finished up as well, so his burst potential, his magic damage is absurd at the moment.
Courier here, SG, but it's on.
It looked like it was picking up, I believe, I think he was going pieces for this Hex for the Undying. Yeah,
probably was.
I mean, that Hex is going to make a big difference. They also lost their gem, I believe, in the last engagement on the side of SG, too, so now... Oh, no, they still have it. Never mind. So... they can still take fights as long as they have the vision advantage, and now the Aegis and Cheese isn't there, and they're still looking okay, even though it's it's just a racks for racks trade. They just gave up a couple unnecessary kills.
Then, ooh, strike just off the mark. F. Lee, quick with the reflexes. Gets himself away from the attempt from Tava. And that Aghanim's going to be, and this is going to be, if HFN can get that Ags done, he's going to be feeling a lot more comfortable through these few minutes where he doesn't have buyback available.
Yeah, able to either remove the lasso or if he wants to, break the coil and then remove the coil stun, because right now the coil stun is like 4.5 seconds when he does have that Aghanims finished up, so he has to choose when he wants to do it. But here we go, the wraparound coming out from Freedom.
Oh, and it's a big opening as well from F. Lee there with the two-man stun. The Omni Slash from Yawar comes in, a Dagon from CCNC to finish off the SF. Great wraparound from Team Freedom, and they're not done yet. Yawar chops down the Tombstone. He will get hexed up, but he doesn't care. They're chasing down for more. F. Lee again with the setup onto the SK. Takes down Tavo. King RD surrounded by CCNC and Stanking as the Ice Path is laid down. He's tanky on this Undying. Not tanky enough to survive as CCNC picks up a kill. Young Godlike on the puck. And what
that was
just a great wraparound. And
yeah.
F. Lee there with the Nyx Assassin plays. Fantastic.
Beautiful chain lockdown onto the Shadow Fiend. He's unable to use any of his abilities. No BKB, no Satanic, nothing to try to save himself. And now it's 3 people dead. Shadow Fiend does have buyback, but it would be 2 versus 5.
Yeah, they've just got to let these rags go.
Freedom just with some incredibly good maneuverability and decision of where they want to take the fight.
Seeing HFN trying to jump in, but the lasso is there controlling him, and he's down, and he's out for 80. No buyback. SF will buy back for this now. Feeling the threat, but again, F. Lee in with these stuns, causing issues for what this Shadow Fiend's trying to do. He's forced to put the BKB, will heal up with the Satanic. But CCNC just jumping around the back lines with these daggone plays, picking up the kills. F. Lee's back in. Will get punished as Tavo comes through the Blink Burrow Strike. Nyx Assassin, SG only with 2 alive here, but it looks to be enough to force Team Freedom to back off. With this game getting into very, very hard territory for SG to swing back. As again, just another one of these games where we're seeing some of these sort of fights towards the later mid-game where SG, they're trying to make these plays, but they kind of just end up shooting themselves in the foot as Team Freedom have been able to punish them. Great positioning from the Nyx Assassin and some really nice rotations as well.
Yeah, the Nyx Assassin stunts have been on point. Even the Ice Path, the coils, their spell usage on Team Freedom has definitely been a bit better than SG. And I feel like them having like these so many different saving mechanisms, these like 2 Force Stabs, 2 Yule Scepters, they have so many ways to just kite the fight out, and SG just kind of starts like running around. They can't really catch a lot of the heroes on Freedom. Just makes it a lot more difficult. And also Freedom's, the place that they take these fights is incredibly good and just unexpected. There was no way that SG was expecting a kind of wraparound like that. They were completely split up, and Freedom capitalized on it. Now, Refresher finished up on CCNC, so getting rid of his Veil, he is maxed out. And he's like we said,
yeah.
He's almost unkillable. They have the Hex, of course, now on the Undying, but Hex and a Sanking Stun, that's pretty much all they have right now to try to catch that puck. And he is an absolute problem.
Scotty's finished the fire as well. Made the absolute throughout this game. Riders to the top, on par with the farm. The Shadow Fiend. King RD loves that sad trombone. Really does. This game's certainly very tough now for SG Sports.
Yeah, they're unable to really get their lanes out in a great fashion either. It's just the Shadow Fiend who can push lanes. The Ursa, every time he does, he kind of just gets picked off by a lasso or chain disable.
A prize.
They can do it. Freedom setting up the wave down bottom to go for that push to try for the mega creeps. It looks like just pressure tool. They do need to be a little careful with you are. Of course, going in on Guardy. Back available there in terms of gold.
I think they're just waiting for the final Roche to be able to just close the game out.
Just play it safe for sure, yeah, for Team Freedom. No need to get too hasty at this stage.
Yeah, they've got very dominant map control at this time too, and it's past 40 minutes, so those double runes start coming into favor. So double runes and a Roche, and that'll probably be their window to go for the ending of the game.
Look at this plot. I mean, it's ridiculous. You know, CCNC before he got that GPM talent was having a great game, but it's really quite something to see how far ahead the puck can get in network. Late game puck, he's going to be loving it. I mean, as you said, what? Look, the Lincoln Sphere next.
Yeah, probably get rid of the Yules.
Get rid of the Yules. Yeah.
He has options. I think he can even buy like he can buy a Moon Shard for Yawar if he wants to or something, but he's clearly just wants to be able to scale a bit more for himself. The Yule Scepter has been great.
Yeah.
But Lincoln's is just a better alternative. And at least will block from those instant disables. I mean, if he blocks the Hex or the Sanking Stun, he's just able to phase shift. All their effort to try to kill him is thwarted.
So what SG can do with this smoke? We saw earlier very good movement from Team Freedom as they wrapped around again. Team Freedom will be smoked. Who's going to get the advantage here? There's the reveal here on the back lines. Definitely trying to get in. They'll get the lasso off onto the Shadow Fiend, dragging him back. The Voodoo Restoration and the Death Ward out, as long with the Epicenter, they've actually been able to take down the Batrider here. Looking good for the side of SG. They've taken down one. Can they get anything more? CCNC trying to burst down the Shadow Fiend. The Yules will be there. Can he play his way out of this? Very low on the mana. Stanking taken out as HFN jumps forward, looking for more action. There'll be a buyback from Boris, trying to get himself back in the fight. F. Lee sneaks away with the Vendetta. They've got the lasso, dragging the Shadow Fiend up to the high ground into the clutches of CCNC, bursting him down low. The Soul Rip, is it enough to keep King RD alive? No, the Omni Slash bounces will do it. Yawar comes in for the finisher, takes down 2. They will lose F. Lee, and this did cost Team Freedom 2 buybacks. Yawar is going to look forward to jump in for more. Ice Pass there, trapping the 2 of them. They'll come back in with the Blade Fury. HFN, Yule's up. They'll both go up in the air. They're the 2 cores. HFN taken down, though, by a crit from the Juggernaut. They'll surround the Sand King. It's a team wipe as SG hit the decks. Only a buyback available on the SK, and look at the base. CCNC already hitting in onto the tier 4s. The fighting just wasn't enough from SG. The clutch buybacks from Team Freedom, securing them the team fight. And GG is called. Team Freedom taking game 1.
Man, it was looking so good for SG, and then that Roche engagement just completely swung the game back for Team Freedom. The buyback from the Ursa. He never went for BKB either, and we were looking at Team Freedom's lineup where they're heavy magical damage oriented, but at the same time, SG also were lacking kind of ways to catch them in the fights. Like they had the Sand King stun, Witch Doctor wasn't able to really get any money because he was getting focused and just killed by all like the havoc that was happening in the fights, and it was like Tavo has to get like perfect stuns and they have to pretty much burst them.
Tavo, yeah.
And it was just, it's way too hard. Team Freedom had